Hey, this is Matt once again. What about to the video as I tip my damn desk for no reason? This is a paid request for Nick. Now, Nick, if you're watching, thank you so much. He wanted me to do a commentary and a review. I apologize if the commentary isn't that exciting. Again, it's been a while since I've seen Batman Begins, and so it's me like listening to the dialogue a lot, and it's been over 10 years since I last saw the film all the way through. And I've been before I get into it, for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It could be a topic, reaction, commentary, review, re-review, whatever it may be. I've never been a big Nolan Batman fan. Now, because of certain sections of the fan base, not the full fan base, there are Nolan fans that are perfectly fine, perfectly cool, courteous, but there is a section, and this is like with every fan base, not just this, it's every fan base, there is a section that if you say anything minutely negative, their heads explode. And I still remember when The Dark Knight Rises, I still don't like that film, and I got death threats over it. And it made me like the film even less. And so, every once in a while, I say, oh, fuck the Nolan Batman movies. You just get exasperated because of that. But, if I'm being fair, The Dark Knight, I don't think is a bad film. It's just not a film I care a whole lot for in terms of Heath Ledger does a good job. I don't mind Aaron Eckhart, although the Two-Face looks a bit goofy with the CG. I do think it's the best of the three. Dark Knight Rises, I still hate. I still think that's an awful film. I think that's a terrible film. I think that's a film that makes little sense. I think it's a film that you look at, you go, okay, wait a minute, Batman broke his back, but then a couple, then his back is fine, but then he climbs up and he falls and he should break his back again, but he doesn't. But then he goes to a city that you can't get in, but he somehow teleports in there. We don't know how he did in, since they explain every other thing in detail, but they don't explain that in detail. But then for some reason someone makes a whole bat signal on fire. Who did that? Who's so bored to do that? Did Batman do that? If Batman did that, why did he take the damn time to do it when all this crap's going on? If it was someone else, why did they take the time? Like, I could survive, I could try to get some food, try to get some help, or I'm going to make a damn bat signal on fire because I love The Crow so much. I don't know. Maybe they were watching The Crow, and then they said, you know what, let me make a Batman fire symbol. And again, if Batman did it, I don't know why he took the time to do that. I'm like, you have more important shit to do. Or the whole stupid plan of all the cops in the damn underground, so we don't like cops, but we don't have the cops there, and we don't take them hostage. I'm like, you have an entire city hostage. You could kill all the cops, and you still have enough leverage of hostages to get a whole fucking city for a hostage. So why are you even keeping the cops alive? And just kill the cops. But hell, I mean, the cops, they must have been fed well enough because they get out of there, even though the movie says they've been down there for months. When you're down months underground, you don't be fucked up. But no, they were perfectly fine. They were ready to get into battle. They're really shitty fight scenes. Because Christopher Nolan, he's talented in a lot of aspects. I don't think he's talented in fight scenes. I don't. Because every fight scene I see in his movies has been, except maybe some bits in Tenet, but that's more the idea than the choreography. But I don't think he's a fight scene guy. I just don't. I'll give Nolan credit for a lot of things, but I will not give him credit for that, because in my opinion, I don't think he deserves that. Whether it's because he has a tendency not to want to shoot, usually doesn't want second unit stuff on his movies, so he controls everything. Well, you know what? Maybe there's some second unit people that know what they're doing more in terms of fight action scenes. But with all that said, I don't like The Dark Knight Rises. I still think that's a terrible movie. I still think Bane sounds stupid. Little Batman, you don't want to die. You know, sounds like Sean Connery voiced Darth Vader. The Dark Knight is okay. I still think it's okay. Heath Ledger makes that film work. This film, I don't. I'm not a fan of this film. I don't know if I call this a rant, as I'm not getting angry about it, but I'm not a fan of this film. I'll say flat out, I'm not a fan of the movie. I'm not. Now, I do think the supporting cast is good. But I mean, come on, you got Michael Caine, you got Morgan Freeman, you got Rutger Hauer, you got Tom Wilkinson, you got Gary Oldman, Liam Neeson. Good, solid supporting cast. Christian Bale, I think he can work fine as Bruce Wayne. When he's Batman, I think he's goofy. I think he's silly. As his voice is silly. People say, well, he's doing it so people don't recognize his voice. He's doing it to intimidate people. I'm not intimidated by that voice. Where he's like, swear to me. It sounds fucking goofy. It sounds stupid as shit. Which is funny because there's a scene early on where when he's in the steam mask and talking to Gary Oldman, he's just talking very softly. Voice sounds fine. But then when he has the bat suit on, it just, swear to me. I'm not, do I look at the top? Just looks goofy as shit. Sounds goofy as shit. At least to me. Now, maybe the whole idea, the premise of the film, maybe is just not my preference. And maybe I just don't like the film because it's just personal preference. The Batman origin story just was not interesting to me. And who knows, maybe there would be no way to make it interesting for me. To me, it's interesting after the fact. And that's one of the many reasons why, yes, I enjoy this film. I enjoy this film. Yes, it does not need to be that long. There's little hiccups here and there, like Catwoman. But I still really enjoy this film. How people view the Nolan Batman films is how I view this movie. And vice versa. There are people who hate this film, and the reasons they hate this film is the reason I don't like Batman Begins, let alone hate The Dark Knight Rises. The more grounded way, I liked more in this. I liked it better than this. I like Robert Pattinson better. I like the action scenes better. I like the fight scenes better. I like the story, the detective angle better. The way people view Batman Begins and that, the Nolan trilogy, I should say, is how I view this film. I got more into this than this. And you say, well, they don't go into Bruce Wayne. Again, I found that refreshing because maybe that's the case. I'm not interested in Bruce Wayne. I'm interested in Batman. Maybe that's what it comes down to. When I watch Batman, I don't really care about Bruce Wayne. I care about Batman. Maybe that's what it is at the end of the day. And again, the Bruce Wayne parts with Christian Bale is fine. Like when Richard Brake, who was in Rob Zombie movies like 3 from Hell, 31, he was the asshole in 2005 Doom movie. He's the guy who shot Bruce Wayne's parents. He's getting out of jail, and Bruce Wayne is ready to shoot him. That's a decent idea, decent scene. When Christian Bale is sharing scenes with Morgan Freeman, who is kind of the Q to Batman, he has all the gadgets and stuff. When he's sharing scenes with Michael Caine, they work fine. Maybe because I like Christian Bale. But when I go to Christian Bale, I prefer Equilibrium, I prefer American Psycho to this, and to these movies. The story, it's funny, I know it's shorter than this movie, but I find this film less boring than this film. Flat out, I thought Batman Begins was fairly boring. Watch it again. That's another thing when I'm doing the commentary, I'm kind of just, what do you say about a movie that just bores you? And I don't care for the look of Gotham. I think it looks generic. I like the way the stylistic choices of the Tim Burton Batman films. And even this one is a bit more grounded, but I felt this had more atmosphere. I thought the lighting was better in this movie compared to Batman Begins. The lighting, I don't think worked for me in terms of trying to be atmospheric and moody. I don't know, some scenes felt like it was too bright or too this, that. And the look of Gotham, like in a way, I like the look of Gotham in this more than this. And I don't know how else to word it better in that light. And okay, he goes to the League of Shadows. He studies to be a better fighter. There's Liam Neeson. There's Ken Watanabe, who would later be in the Godzilla films. Liam Neeson, I mean, this is before Taken. This is what people, in case you forget, Taken was 2008. So this is before Liam Neeson really rose to a bigger star. I mean, he was a star then, but even bigger after that. And I think Liam Neeson is good as Ra's al Ghul. I don't know if I really care about the story behind the character. Maybe I could deal with it more on the cartoon Batman animated series because it's a shorter running time. So each story is kind of more compact. But when he disappears, and then the whole hour goes by, as oh, by the way, now we're back to this story. It kind of, maybe that's one of the reasons why the story of Ra's al Ghul did not, like the Scarecrow stuff was more interesting to me. Yeah, the look of Scarecrow, I do think he looks better in the comic books, but I mean, I think Cillian Murphy does a good job portraying the character for what he's given. The fear toxin, I like the idea behind it, which is from the source material. I do think there's a bit more you could do with the fear hallucinations. I think there's a lot more crazy, wild imagery you could have detailed with that, but I do like Cillian Murphy. I first saw him in 28 Days Later. I enjoyed him in this one for what it is. But I would say, again, his story was kind of more interesting to me than the Ra's al Ghul story. Going through it, like Batman himself, like Batman is the least interesting part of the movie of Batman Begins, Sally. Like when Christian Bale is talking with Morgan Freeman, a little bit of these tools and gadgets, and then some scenes with Michael Caine. That's the stuff that's more interesting because of those actors involved. And then when Batman comes into play, I think he kind of sucks. Because I don't like his suit. I think the suit seems chunky. With chunky asses. The voice, I think, sucks dick. It's laughable. It's silly. It's... when that scene popped up, I laughed. During the commentary, I laughed. Like, this fucking voice. And the fight scenes are messy, they're choppy, and they're confusing. It's chaotic mess because a few years before you had the Bourne Identity. Bourne Identity was 2002. This was 2005. The Bourne Identity came out. Yes, there was shaky cam and stuff before that, but that film helped popularize. You get an actor like Matt Damon, and if you do the fight scenes like this, it make it seem like they've been a fighter for years and years and years by choppy, fast editing. So they don't have to be that exquisite on choreography and pulling off the moves expertly. You just hide it with all this messy, chaotic, to me, shoddy fight sequences. I'm not a fan of the Bourne films. I'm not a fan of this movie. And again, when I watch those type of movies, I want to enjoy the fight scenes. And it's like if I get a McDonald's meal, I want the French fries. You don't give me the French fries. It makes me very unhappy with the meal because the French fries are kind of my favorite parts of the meal. Give me the shit. So then I did like just unhappy about the experience of watching your movie when one of the parts I hope to like is the fight scenes and they shots in a terrible manner, in my opinion. It has a good supporting cast. I don't really care about the love story with the Rachel Dawes character. And then it was a different actress and they kill her off in the second film. Then the third film, I don't even know if they even mention that character in the third movie. Do they mention the character in Dark Knight Rises? I don't even remember. And I just, even though it's a lot shorter than this I was less bored than this movie. Watch it again. Again, either because I'm not into the origin of Batman as much as others. The origin of Superman in the Richard Donner movie, I was really into that. The look of Krypton, and there's Marlon Brando, and the music by John Williams, which is exquisite, and then the great human parents, and you were here for a reason. It's not to score touchdowns. And the heart attack, and with all those powers, I couldn't save him. And then the sweeping shots make you believe a man could fly. Like, I got the magic of Superman the movie. My problem with the film is I don't like the fucking world turnaround. I've always hated that shit. I love Superman the movie to death. I hate the world turnaround shit that makes me go, why the fuck does a Superman do that every single fucking time then? And then it turns around, but then certain things happen, but certain things didn't happen. So the bomb, the thing hit, so the things are falling down, because Lois Lane says, yeah, power lines, like telephone lines were falling down, but then the earth doesn't crack. So why is it that the telephone poles fall down, but it doesn't crack? It's like half the events happen, but half the events don't. It confuses the fuck out of me. No matter how many times people try to explain it, I'm like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. They shouldn't have done that in the fucking first place. Just have Superman, I don't know, save the day. And he thinks Lois is dead, but then realizes she's not dead. Yeah, maybe it'd be cheap as a fake out, but I don't know. I probably still would have preferred it that way. Anyway, I love Superman the movie, even despite that. This one, the music, the only music I cared was the music that people remember the most. That ba da 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 da. And I'm not even going to say it's a bad score. I don't think it's a bad score. It's just, if you're asking me in comparison with the Tim Burton Batman Returns, in comparison with this, I like the music in this more. I like the music in Tim Burton's Batman films more. I mean, the ninja sequences, they made ninjas look kind of boring. When you make ninjas look boring, it takes some effort. There's some good looking shots when he's training in that region, like Liam Neeson and Christian Bale on the ice. Good looking cinematography there. When it gets to Gotham is when other than a few shots of Batman like in the rain or something, I don't care for the look of Gotham. Again, I don't know if it's the way it's lit, I don't know if it's the structure. Just, it looks generic to me. Doesn't look anything special to me. Like I said, the fight scenes I think are messy and chaotic. The pacing I just found rather boring. The fights, like I said, messy. The supporting cast is very solid. They helped the film quite a bit. So it was a good decision on that part. Even when it gets into the finale, I can't really say I was that gung-ho about the finale. I get the idea behind it, with the whole city and all the fear toxin, but it was kind of hard for me to swallow that all those people, it must have been a hell of a mess with all the fear toxin and people going crazy. I bet there were a lot of dead bodies. They just didn't show it. Outcase, he stopped the thing from being worse, but then you have all the inmates that are free, and we gotta go rescue, we gotta go get them, which to lead into the second film. They set up the Joker with the cards for the second film. The whole moral thing didn't work for me because he has this whole thing about I'm not going to kill you. I'm just not going to save you. Okay, but you still killed him anyway. You're still killing him. It's just semantics now at this point. So, I mean, you're still killing him regardless. Because on the train, you finally learned, no, I'm not going to kill you. I just don't have to save you. But you still killed him. I mean, you're still killing him. I mean, that's like one of those fucking things in Until Dawn. You could open up the door to save the person, or you could keep the door closed. And yeah, you didn't technically kill the person, but you still killed the person. You still didn't open the door to let him come in to be saved by the, not be mauled by the Wendigo. You still killed him. It's just semantics at this point now. It may not be murder, but it may be, I don't know, voluntary manslaughter or some other technicality of it. But you still killed him. So you might as well just do it the old-fashioned way. But, you know, like I said, I know a lot of people love these films and teach their own. People call it the best of the Batman. And, yeah, I get it. The previous film was Batman and Robin. And Batman and Robin is way worse than this. I can give you that. Batman and Robin is way worse than Batman Begins. Is way worse than... You know what? Honestly, I'd rather watch it than Dark Knight Rises. I'll say that. Dark Knight Rises is still the worst Batman film I've seen. I'd rather watch Batman and Robin 10 times over Dark Knight Rises. Because Dark Knight Rises is stupid and dumb, and it doesn't know it. Batman and Robin is stupid and dumb, and it does know it. So, at least Batman and Robin does know. Doesn't excuse it, but it does know how stupid it is. Dark Knight Rises doesn't know how stupid it is. It's a guy... If he's a professor, but he thought 2 plus 2 equals 5. That's the Dark Knight Rises. Batman and Robin will answer that question, but then laugh, because they know how stupid they were. So, I still think Dark Knight can piss on my hospitality, and I don't allow it. But yeah, Batman Begins... I don't like the suit. I don't like the voice. The Tumbler, I always hated the Tumbler, that fucking stupid looking tank that's about as subtle as a fucking brick to the face. I don't think it looks as cool and stylish as Tim Burton's films. I don't think it looks as sleek and cool as the new film. I like this Batmobile more. I like the Tim Burton's Batmobile more. This, it's just a big old fucking tank that must be a goddamn monster truck. Ready to be on WCW towers so Hulk Hogan can throw the giant off the goddamn thing and still survive. It must be a goddamn monster truck. Batman versus Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan going, doesn't work for me, brother. You have to lose because it doesn't work for me, brother. I don't do a job for anybody, including Batman. Well, I guess I'll do it with Ultimate Warrior, I guess, but I'll still take the spotlight. Anyway, going off tangent. But, God, what else? I'm trying to remember. That's another thing. I mean, it's trying to be very epic, I get it, with the conversations. Although there's a lot of exposition in the film as well. Like, you could say half the dialogue is exposition. But... it's a movie that, at the end of the day, Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne does a fine enough job. Its intentions are good intentions to try to take the character more seriously after the buffoonery of Batman and Robin. I appreciate its intentions. Liam Neeson and Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman and Gary Oldman and Rutger Hauer, may he rest in peace. Having all those guys in the mix in the background helps the film tremendously. But I still thought the pacing was rather boring. I thought the action scenes were messy and shaky cam and confusing and not fun to watch. They were not intense or fun to watch. I could do without the fucking swarm of CGI bats, which was a bit goofy to me. Bunch of fucking CGI bats. I'm like, where's Lou Diamond Phillips? I go out and old back, get rid of my town. And again, the finale. I watched the finale. I know it's supposed to be very epic because the music tells me it's epic, but it's a bunch of people scared. He gets to the train. He lets him die. Which I'm like, you should have just, I don't know, broke his fucking neck or something. But I know this Batman doesn't do that, I know. That's why I'm like, get the Punisher in there, for fuck's sake. Punisher will take care of this shit. And Scarecrow, I don't like the way he was taken out, where the last time we see him is just Rachel Dawes' character shocking him in the fucking face with a goddamn taser, and then in the second film he kind of gets caught like that. So I think the Scarecrow could have been a lot more done with that character. So the way that character's kind of, I'm like, well, that sucks. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But with that said, if people love the film, I'm glad you do. If people enjoy the film, I'm glad you do. I get to a lot of people, it's their favorite. It's their favorite superhero movie, their favorite comic movie. I just don't agree. I don't find it that exciting or thrilling like comic book movies I've enjoyed. I don't find it's that nostalgia to me, so I can't throw that into it. And I mean, I look at animated films like The Dark Knight Returns or Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. I look at other live action films, and I just get more out of that than this. And I don't know how else to word it. People can be pissed as much as they want. It's not going to change my opinion. We agree to disagree. Yeah, just how it is. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.